product. And I think for us, we've had some really good retailers. We were just talking about one today that came on with us, Owl's Nest Barbecue. He's awesome, but he sold a lot of product, but he's passionate about it. Yep. He talks about it. He educates his people, his staff, everybody on it.
That's right. Welcome to the show. And you're back.
I'm back.
You're back from the great safari up in Michigan where you raided the petting zoo and thinned out the herd up there. Welcome home, buddy.
Yeah, glad to be home.
How's
Steve.
the trip?
It was nice. Nice. You're never, wait too long when you're ready to come home too. So we had a good time, spent some time with my brother, killed a deer, brought a lot of deer meat home with me. So
good.
So looking forward to eating some of that up, doing some of that on a show too, Steve.
Yeah, okay, we can do that. I want to tell everybody if you're watching on YouTube or my Facebook page, Steve Ray, you're welcome to watch it. But if you want to ask a question of Jonathan Edwards, who's going to be with us in just a moment, go to the Owl's Nest Barbecue Facebook page, and that's where we're going to take all the questions at tonight. So let's get everybody together in one spot, and we'll get your questions and everything on for Jonathan in just a few minutes. First thing, open house we had Saturday. Great time.
Oh, awesome.
Great time. I tell you, a big thank you to Pete. Thank you so much for your help. Jeff Maxwell, Steve Davidson, Jason Penley, Michael Williams, Billy Holland, Charles Pettit, Sean Jaggles, Mark Ellis, Tanya and Betsy, Rondell Thacker came by, and Sean Cosby came by. Just some of the pro staff that came by to visit with us. Thank you, everybody that helped. Thank you, everybody that came by. Biggest one we've had yet.
Yeah. Oh, by far.
By far.
Since I've been around.
And I figured out the way to get the crowd, Pete. Free Bloody Marys. Man, we made them. And then Billy Holland surprises us with a smoked cocktail kit he brings.
Him and Jeff both brought one.
Oh, so Jeff had one too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So they're making smoked Bloody Marys, and people were drinking them like crazy. But we had a good time.
It was a good time.
And thank you everybody for showing up. Thanks everybody for coming. We had a really good time. Now let's get to the heart of the matter. We're going to have this is a kind of like I don't say a special edition, but it's a special edition of the Owl's Nest Barbecue Catch-Up Show. We've got Jonathan Edwards from Alabama. Jonathan, how you doing?
Doing great, guys. Thanks a lot for having me on.
Jonathan is our cook, of all the pro staffers, he's kind of our expert cook. And we're going to have a question and answer session with Jonathan. We're going to talk if you got a turkey question, a ham question. And Jonathan, I saw some of the pictures of your desserts. You're on it with the desserts too.
Yes, sir. It comes from my grandmother. She and I, we cooked a lot whenever I was a kid, and so she kind of started my love of cooking with baking, and so that carries on to smoking now. So I still have a love for baking and doing sweets as well as smoking meats too.
Well, I tell you what, we're gonna get right to the board here. We're gonna show everyone some of Jonathan's resume. There's a turkey breast that he did. Jonathan, just a beautiful color. I don't know how you do yours without burning it like mine do, but that's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Real quick, give a real quick synopsis on that.
Yeah, sure thing. So, so Steve, you've got this brine in your shop. This is Lane's signature brine. It's a great brine to use. It's got really nice flavor. It's kind of an herby kind of a brine. And so I brine that turkey breast for 24 hours. And then I took it out and I dried it on a rack in the refrigerator to kind of dry out the skin. And it pulls that skin tight and get you a really nice bite on that. And then in that kit, when that Lane's kit actually has that Spellbound rub on it as well. And it has a really nice barbecue type rub, but it has a really pretty color. It's a nice red color to it. So I rubbed it down with that and then put it in my Assassin pellet smoker and cooked it at 300 degrees. That's another key piece there is getting that temperature up whenever you're doing any type of poultry. And then smoked it until I hit an internal temperature of about 155 or so. And then I started glazing it. And my favorite glaze to use is Captain Rodney's Buchan glaze. That's the best stuff. So glaze it with that for the last 5 degrees or so. Pull it off at 160 degrees. Let it rest for about 30 minutes, and it'll trend right on up to that 165 mark you're looking for. And it's ready to slice. And you can see on that picture, you can see the juice that was as soon as I made that slice. It was amazing how much that brine put that juice in that turkey. It was excellent.
Pound cake. I guess that is a pound cake, right?
Yes, sir. It is. So you can smoke anything, is what I say. So this was a really cool pound cake kit from a place here in Alabama, and the name of that place is We Made, and so they help out folks that have challenges whenever with getting jobs, whether it be a disability or something like that. They help them by providing them a job or actually helping them train for a job. And so it's a great place out of Birmingham, Alabama. And so I got that from them and smoked that. And it was really good. My wife, she actually helped me decorate it. So it's nice with the powdered sugar and the strawberries and stuff. And so she helped me with that. So it was really good.
Those are strawberries, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't those strawberries?
Yes, sir. That's right.
Yeah, I know my berries. Right. Tell us about this little nugget of tasty beauty.
Yeah, so I absolutely love baked apples. So this is an apple cobbler that I did. It's a super simple recipe. All you have to do is just add apple, cinnamon, and sugar. And I cooked it in a cast iron pot. And then you just put some flour and some sugar, brown sugar on the top of it, and then just put that in the smoker and bake it until it sets, and then pull that thing out and get you a scoop of ice cream. And I dusted it with a little bit of cinnamon sugar on top. You can see the ice cream has a little bit of cinnamon and sugar on there, and that's probably my favorite dessert. Other than banana pudding, that's probably my favorite dessert.
Is that what was that Lane's apple pie rub?
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, that stuff
Man.
is. If you have not had Lane's apple pie rub, it is off the chain. Here we go. Is that a ham?
Yes, it's a ham.
Okay.
And,
was that a fresh ham?
It was a fresh ham. So this one right here was a monster. It was about 24, 25 pounds. It filled up my smoker. And so I got a challenge from another pro staff member, Jeff. So he had challenged me to do a fresh ham. And so I actually used the Butcher Barbecue sweet cure that you got there in your shop. And this one was a little bit more involved. So you have to inject it with the brine mixture. Then after I injected it, I put it in a big bucket, a big brine bucket in the refrigerator in that cure mixture for about 3 days. And the key to doing a fresh ham is getting the salt back off of it. So after the 3 days in the brine, I took it out of that brine and I refilled my bucket with fresh water. And then I put the ham back in the fresh water, and then I changed out the water about every 8 hours. So I changed it out 3 times over the course of 24 hours. And so that pulls that salt back out of it, because I've made one before and it was so salty you couldn't eat it. And so that was the key, is getting that in there. And then that Butcher Barbecue honey rub, is what's on it. And then I glazed it with some maple honey habanero from Heath Riles. And on this one, I actually took the skin and the fat cap off. And so that's pure meat. And there's another one that I did that has kind of a diamond crosshatch on it. And then that one I actually took the skin off, but I left the fat cap on it. And it made for a really pretty presentation as well.
That's beautiful. Was that brisket?
Yes, sir. Uh-huh. Yeah. And so that's my friend Mike Davis. That's his red dirt. I love that seasoning on brisket. Puts a really nice kind of a red hue to it, and did a braise. I wrapped it up in aluminum foil and did a braise on it to break it down. And it's a little non-traditional for Thanksgiving, but I love brisket, so I eat brisket anytime.
We had a guy come in the station or in the store today.
Yeah.
He's getting ready. He's going to do a brisket, and he Pete, for Thanksgiving.
And a flat, a whole brisket, and then a flat as well.
There it is, Jonathan. That's the prettiest turkey I've ever seen. That's Martha Stewart. That's Martha Stewart food porn right there, buddy.
I think that turkeys are probably one of my favorite things to do. They always turn out really, really well. And this is that Spellbound seasoning again. Now, this one I cooked in my gravity-fed smoker. And so a little bit darker color, not as red as some of the other ones that I've got. But yeah, this one was a really good, really, really good turkey.
On the what kind of gravity feed do you use?
So I use an Assassin.
Yeah.
Do you put a water pan in the bottom?
I don't. I haven't cooked with I tried a water pan when I first started smoking, but I couldn't get my skin right. It seemed like too much humidity in there, especially for poultry, turkey and chicken. I think that probably a drier environment with moving as much air as you can. So I really like those pellet smokers for doing those. But I was doing some Boston butts as well that day. And so I just loaded that Gravity Feed 24 down with that and that turkey, and they all turned out great.
Well, it looks good. No, tell me, what is this thing?
Yeah, so this was a challenge from my dad. So he saw something on Facebook, and he said, "Hey, I think you need to do this. This is a braided pork loin." And so what I did is I took a whole pork loin and I just made 2 cuts in it, coming down lengthwise. And then I just took it and I just braided it. And it made for a really cool presentation. And when you sliced it, since it was braided, it actually had individual pieces that looks like kind of bite-sized pieces as you sliced it. And so it came out perfectly portioned. And that's the Captain Rodney's again. They've got a rub. It's a Tennessee whiskey rub. And it's really good, along with that bouquet glaze, and it put a really pretty color on that braided pork loin.
You know, since you and I spoke last week and we talked about that Captain Rodney stuff, I've all of a sudden I've seen that stuff everywhere.
Yeah,
people have been asking about it, and we need to get some of that in the store.
Yeah.
There's another shot of that beautiful turkey.
Yeah. So this one is a little bit different. It's almost like a golden color to it, and not as red as some of the other ones I've done. And so this one was actually a pecan rub by John Henry. And it's not as much of a barbecue rub, but more of like a sweet rub. And then of course, again, I had to glaze it with Captain Rodney's glaze. It's a really good pepper jelly glaze to put on just about anything.
Well, it looks good. I think we got one more. Look at that. Look at that. That is a spiral cut ham, and that looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, this is I typically don't care for ham, but if I get a sugar cured ham, that's probably my favorite. So this one I actually started off with some apple juice, orange juice, and some sugar, and I made like a wet brine for it, and so I painted that all over the outside, and then I made a sugar rub with brown sugar and terminato sugar and some cinnamon. And I sprinkled that on the outside of that ham. And what I did is I kept layering that as it cooked, and it developed kind of almost like a candy coating on the outside of it. And then by the time that it got done, it had kind of that honey baked ham glaze to it. And you can see those little bits on there. That's one of my favorite parts, the outside. Whenever you would bite into it, it's a little crunchy. And so I love sweet stuff. And so it was a really good ham. If you like sweet and cinnamon, it was good. Very good.
If you like sweet and cinnamon. Yeah. Who doesn't like that? And here's the last. What is this thing? Now tell me about that.
So that's that other ham that I did, and that one is the one where I left the fat cap on it, and I sliced the fat cap in that diamond pattern. And so that one has Butcher Barbecue honey rub, and then I glazed it with Cosmo's maple bourbon glaze. So it was a little bit different from the other one because I like that design with those diamonds in there, and so that was the first ham that I tried, and it came out really good. And those little pieces of fat, they had almost caramelized as well. So whenever you bit into those, you got that little crunchy sugar flavor to it.
That one as well?
Say that again.
Did you cure that one as well?
Yes, that was the first one that I cured. Yep, we're using the Butcher Barbecue Sweet Cure. Yep,
that's a good product.
It is. Yep,
Sweet Cure. You ever do turkey legs? It works great on turkey legs too.
I have to try that
just in case you want to know. All right, Jonathan. This is Ask Our Turkey and Food Expert, Jonathan Edwards from Alabama. He has so kindly donated his time to us tonight, and we want you to ask questions. Please, if you're watching on my Facebook page, Steve Ray, or if you're watching on YouTube, go over to the Owl's Nest Barbecue Facebook page, not the Owl's Nest Barbecue Nation, but the Owl's Nest Barbecue Facebook page. And that's where we'll be taking all of our questions from. And Pete, I'll monitor here. And if I miss one, you let me know. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Let's see. We got Jeff Maxwell's checking in, Jonathan.
Yeah, that's my person who challenged me to those ham cooks. So thanks,
Tammy
to Jeff
Hillis.
for that.
Do you know Tammy Hillis?
Yes, that's my mother-in-law.
Okay. Diana Hillard.
Yep, that's more family members. She's my cook in the family as well. We're always competing against each other.
Tammy says that turkey looks amazing.
It does.
Jeff said, "I love Mike Davis rubs." Let's see. It all looks good. It does, Christy. You're exactly right. And Jeff says, I like Mike Davis products. Yes, and we all do as well. Did I miss anybody, Pete? Anything else on there?
No.
Is that on there?
Yep.
Let's go back to this. If you've got a question, by all means, jump in there and just type it in the comment thread. Everyone, Jonathan would love to entertain your questions. Jonathan, my question is, since I've got you here, on like this breast, how do you? Every time I cook one on the smoker, I try not to get it black anywhere, but but the chicken breast sometimes will get a little bit darker than I want. How do you control the color in it?
Yeah, so the thing that I've had really good success with is using a pellet smoker, and the pellet smoker that I use, it moves a lot of air and has a really good it gets a lot of oxygen to the fire, and so it's a really clean burn. And so I've been fortunate that really I can cook those turkey breasts and turkeys all the way through without wrapping. But now on something a little bit different, like on my gravity feed, I noticed that I do pick up a little bit more of a darker color than what I want. And also I have a stick burner as well it'll even be even darker than that. And so depending on which smoker I'm using, what I try to do is develop almost like a shield for the turkey. And so I've got two ways that I do it. Either if I know that it's not going to be a very dark turkey that's going to come out, so not cooked on a stick burner, but maybe on my gravity feed. And then what I'll do is once the turkey gets about 3 shades lighter than what I want the end product to be, what I'll do is I'll take in a piece of aluminum foil and I'll just drape it over the top of that bird. Now I don't wrap it. I don't pull it down around the sides. I just lay it over the top. And that way, so that smoke, as it's coming out of the smoker, it doesn't settle onto the bird and turn it dark. And then another method that I do is if I know that it's going to be a really dark bird, I'm sure that y'all have seen some of those birds on Facebook that are really, really dark. If I know I'm cooking on a smoker that might have might put a lot darker color on the bird, I'll actually start with the bird loosely tinted in the smoker. Like as soon as I put it in there, I'll loosely tint it with foil. And then as I go through the cook, I'm monitoring the internal temperature. And as it's starting to get a little bit closer to the temperature that I'm looking for, so probably around 130, 140 degrees, I'll actually take that aluminum foil off, and then I'll let that bird come up to the right color that I want. And if it goes a little bit too far, I can put that foil back on there. But that seems to work out the best for me, is just trying to protect that bird from getting too much smoke on the surface of the skin, because with that skin being as light color as it is, it's going to absorb pretty much any color that you put on it. And so if the smoker is producing a good bit more smoke than what maybe a pellet smoker would produce, and that's something that you got to do, is try to protect it. And so, on Facebook and Instagram where I'm at, posting my pictures, it's all about the visual appeal. And so you got to make sure that it looks good as well as tastes good. And so I got to make sure so I work on my color all the time. I'm always working on trying to figure out ways to make it better.
Yeah. Hey, on your turkeys, Jonathan, when you're cooking them in a pellet cooker, do you cook it right on the bottom grate, or do you have a little shelf that you can put it on to get it up off of the bottom grates of a smoker?
Yeah, I put it on a little shelf. I've got a little wire rack that I put it on, and it just makes it easier to maneuver, because once I put it on that wire rack, and then I apply my rub, and then once I do that, then I don't have to touch that turkey anymore. I can pick it up from the bottom of that wire rack and just set it right there on my smoker, because more times that you touch it, the more times that you move the turkey, the more likely that you're going to get your rub to clump, or as you're moving the legs or the wings, you can kind of get a buildup of rub in those crevices of the bird. Those will turn dark on you, and they don't look very good. And so I try to make sure that once I get my rub on there and I put it on very even, and then I try not to touch that meat for the rest of the cook until I'm ready to slice it.
Do you ever turn the turkey inside the smoker? Like if it's, I'm assuming you cook it sideways. You put it in the smoker sideways. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And what I do is the way that I orient my turkey is based on my hot spot in my smoker. And so I know that closer to the firebox is going to be hotter than away from the firebox. And so what I do is I put my dark meat on the side that's hotter, and then I put my white meat on the side that's cooler. And then I don't typically rotate it after that, because that you want that white meat to be about 15 to 20 degrees cooler than what you want your dark meat to be. So if I set it up in my smoker that way, usually I get really close to where I get that nice heat distribution to where my dark meat's cooking hotter than what my white meat's cooking.
All right, let's see. We got. Let's see. We stopped off with Jeff. Wanda Simmons says that your tri-tips are awesome.
Yes, I do.
I'm assuming she's talking about tri-tip meat.
Yes. I love cooking tri-tip. Here in Alabama, tri-tip wasn't as common back several years ago, and so that was something that I try to focus on, or cuts that are kind of unusual. And so you probably see in some of my posts that you'll see some different cuts that maybe are a little different than what you see. I've got a friend who owns a butcher shop in Murfreesboro, and he keeps me in some very interesting cuts of meat. So like things like Denver steaks, and those are some of the tri-tip and picanhas, stuff like that. I love cooking stuff like that. That's a little bit different, something that you can't get around here usually.
Our Publix has started stocking tri-tips here in Ottawa. I love mine. We did one. Yeah. I did one last week. I love tri-tip. Summer McCoy says, wow, I've been waiting to hear from Jonathan forever. His cooking is amazing. Yes, it is. We've got, let's see, Eric from Pimp My Grill. Wow. Boy, if my turkey turns out half as good as those photos, it's going to be a great Thanksgiving.
That's what I said. I
Thank
said
you.
the same
Thank you.
thing.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's see. Shane Hillis says, how do you get that pretty red color out of your ribs?
Yes. So the big thing for me is anytime that I'm looking at color is what type of rub that I'm using. Now, there are a lot of good rubs out there, but the thing that really, catches people's eye on social media is going to be what it looks like. And so a rub might taste really good, but it's kind of a brown color rub, and so those usually don't photograph as well. And so what I do is I try to look for a rub that's almost kind of like an orangish color, or maybe a red color, a bright red color. That's going to put a really nice color on any of the meats that you're using. So whether it's ribs, if it's chicken, turkey, anything like that, is going to take a really nice red color is what I look for. So if it's, but like I said, there's a lot of great rubs out there that are other colors than that I use. But if I'm taking a photograph, and then usually I'm reaching for those more orangish or more reddish rubs, and those photograph really well, especially in natural sunlight. You see, I take a lot of my pictures are usually outside. And so getting that sunlight on there and sun beating down on those rubs, they picture the best.
What kind of camera are you using?
So it's an iPhone. I haven't upgraded to a nice camera, but yeah.
I thought it was a Hasselblad. I thought it was a Hasselblad. Let's see. Michael Williams chiming in. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for the great job you did Saturday too, by the way. He says, I brine my turkey in Butcher Barbecue Bird Booster Brine. Absolutely a wonderful product. Let's see here.
That's another thing that can really help you out too with color is your brine. And so it depends on what type of color that I'm going for. So if I'm going for like a golden brown kind of a color, and then what I would do is I actually like to use sweet tea. I don't know if y'all have ever tried a sweet tea brine on a turkey, but that's really good.
I haven't tried it. We just got it in though. We do have it.
Mm-hmm. And it does color the meat and the skin a little bit brown when it comes out of the brine. And so that takes to a really nice golden brown color. And then if I'm looking for more of a red color, I'll use like a barbecue brine. And usually those have a little bit more of a red tinge to them. And then I'll do that. And then that way, so whenever the meat comes out of the brine, it's actually already got a little bit of that color that I'm looking for. And then I just build on that from there. Then I put, whatever I'm looking for as far as the color goes. If I'm going red, I'm putting a really nice red rub on there. And then usually I'm glazing with some type of like a pepper jelly just to give it a nice sheen. And then on the other side of that, if I'm looking for more of a golden brown color, and then I'll use that sweet tea brine, and then I'll use more of an orangish color rub, and then again glaze it off to get you that nice shine. So the brine does help out, even though some people may not think about it. It does help out with your color.
Billy Holland wants to know: do you brine or inject, or both?
So it depends on timing. So if I've got the time, I do like to brine the best probably. If I don't have the time, if I'm running behind, and then I will inject. The only thing with injection that I have found is that it does impart, I think, more flavor than brining does. But I do tend to get injection marks in the meat. And whenever I'm doing it for presentation, to slice it and then take a picture of it for social media. Sometimes some of the folks in the groups, they get a little upset whenever they see those marks in there. And so as far as for photography, picturing, and having a nice product as you're slicing, I do typically stay away from the injections. But the injections are great. I've done them before. And I think that they do impart maybe a little bit more flavor than what a brine does. But the brine goes all the way through and you get a really moist product. And it's something that's consistent all the way through the meat.
Steve Davidson says, hello, guys. Thanks for the great job you did Saturday, Steve. And Jeff chiming in again. Picked me up a fresh ham today. Goes in the bath tomorrow.
Can't wait to see pictures.
Yeah, that'll be. Pete and I did one we did one last year. We brined one and cooked it. It was 30 some pounds. The thing is, after you brine it, is my God.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Shane Hillis wants to know, have you ever used pickle juice as a brine on pork?
So I haven't tried the pickle juice, but now, Steve, I know that you're a big fan of pickle juice.
I am.
And so I haven't tried it on pork, but I have done it on chicken wings, and I actually got the pickle juice from Owl's Nest, and I've sprayed those just like you do with your chicken wings, and sprayed the chicken wings with it, and it turns out really good. But I have to try it on pork. I haven't tried that yet. Have you?
Have I ever brined with it? No,
Yeah.
except chicken wings, but no.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Lane's dill pickle brine now too.
Mm.
Lane's is it's a good company.
It is.
Yeah,
They're good to deal with, and
Ryan's
their
got
product.
Ryan's got a great imagination. He reminds me a lot of David Bosca. You know, his imagination with products is really, really fascinating. You know, they're always trying to bring in different things, and never satisfied with what they've got. It seems to me that they're always looking for more, and I like that. Let's see. So we know you don't cook on the. You know, I was telling somebody today about how to cook a turkey, and I'm an advocate of cooking on that upper wire shelf too, like you do, Jonathan. But I always slip a pan of water underneath that thing. Do you ever use water underneath them?
No, I haven't tried using water.
Yeah. See, I don't know, Pete. I'm in the lower percent. I don't really care if the skin is that crispy, because when you cut it, it's like bark on pork. And everybody's always looking for that perfect bark on pork butt. But once you cut it and pull it, it kind of disappears. You know, all of a sudden it's just gone.
Okay, I'll tell you, like, my perspective is I really want the flavor in the meat.
Yeah.
I don't really care. I mean, a lot of people like the skin and stuff, which is great, but I'm all about flavor in the meat. Turkey, I like to get down and rub underneath the skin, put seasoning in there. I like to put seasoning in the turkey when I'm cooking it, just a lot of different things, garlic, rosemary, a lot of things like that in there, and get this flow of seasoning in there. So I don't really care about it, Steve. That's how I like mine.
Let me ask you something, Jonathan. I've never done it. Pete, I don't know if you have or not. Have you ever removed the skin from a turkey and then smoked it?
I have. So
tell me about that. Tell me about that. That's because that's my next mad scientist thing.
Yeah, my wife, she really likes the skin, and so I always try to make sure that I have it prepared correctly for her. But if I'm gonna cook a turkey, and I'm not planning on taking a picture of it, or I'm not planning on using it for a presentation piece, I'm just cooking a turkey just to eat. Just like you said, that turkey, once you pull that turkey and put it in the refrigerator, that skin is not good. I don't care for that once it goes in the refrigerator. And so to your point, Pete, whenever you said that, that skin kind of does block that seasoning from going in there. So if I'm pulling that turkey and I'm just using it for meal prep or something like that, then I take that skin off and then I rub the skin. I rub the meat then, and then I pull that, and then I stick that in the refrigerator, and that's the best way to go for that. I agree with you 100%. So.
Well, tell me about the turkey though that you pulled the skin off and cooked. How did that come out?
Yeah, it turned out great. It was it doesn't picture as good just because whenever it's a little bit duller because the skin's not there with the fat in it. Turkey's a pretty lean meat. And so it just rubbed it down did everything else the same way. I didn't glaze it because it wasn't, because I wasn't going to take a picture of it. But yeah, it turned out perfect. Whenever you pull it and you mix all that meat together, it turned out really good. But it was just, it had a lot more flavor to it because it didn't have that skin on there that was blocking that seasoning getting down.
That's what I think. Is it would do is give more flavor to the meat.
Well,
turkey's so bland.
It is,
and it's we've done well. Let's see. Before you left, we did about 3 turkeys. Pete, while you were gone, I think I did 4, and I am so burned out on turkey. But I'm always looking for more flavor. I want And that's why I inject turkeys. When I inject a turkey, buddy, I mean, I load that dude up. I don't take any. I'll put 2 bottles of Tony Cheros in one, and it doesn't bother me a bit. And I like them moist. I like them buttery too. What about drizzling butter over them? You ever done that?
I've tried that. I did struggle a little bit with it as far as the color goes. It got a little dark on me, but I've tried it, but I haven't done it very often. I think I've only done it once or twice.
See, I spritz mine with butter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's let's see. Jeff wants to know, my no skin chicken turn in did not go so well.
Yeah, I can see where a turn in might not go so well with no skin on. Yeah,
I would say it probably didn't. Okay, let's move to, you showed us how to do this. Let's talk about how about some side ideas? Did you do anything other than the old standard, sweet potatoes, marshmallows, my favorite of all time, the green bean cream of mushroom, on the back of the Campbell can, that's my all-time favorite.
I'm with you.
I love it. I really shouldn't care if they don't have any other kind, because if that's not on the table, I'm really mad anyway. And I like almond slivers. Okay, Jonathan, if you ever make me one, I want almond slivers on the top. All right.
I got you.
And plenty of salt. Don't hold back on the salt. But what are some side ideas for everybody?
Yeah, so a non-traditional side item that I like is a sausage and cheese tray. And so I think I told y'all before, I love Memphis. It's my favorite city. And that is a big thing in Memphis is sausage and cheese. And so it's a plate where it's normally a smoked sausage that's on there. And then it's got different types of cheeses like cheddar, pepper jack. And then usually it's got like the pepperoncinis on there. You can put pickles. You can do all kinds of stuff. And then usually there's a dipping sauce, and it's normally like a honey mustard sauce. And that's really good. And so almost for every get together that we have, I always put together a sausage and cheese plate. But
wouldn't that be an appetizer more than a side?
Okay. That's true. Okay. And another thing that I like to do is smoked mac and cheese. Now that's something that's usually a crowd pleaser as well. Yep. I stick in the smoker and do that. And then I do some
for your mac and cheese. Is it involved, or is it pretty basic?
It's pretty basic. I actually stole it from Malcolm Reed on his How to Barbecue Right website, and so I got it off of there. So it's really good, and it's kind of a debate whether we put the breadcrumbs on top or not. Some people are a big fan of the breadcrumbs on top, and then some people don't care for it.
Cheetos.
Oh yeah,
Cheetos. That's a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought everybody knew that. Malcolm didn't know that. I need to call Malcolm and tell him. Cheetos, Malcolm. What else?
And then I also like to do roasted potatoes, and so I'll take like new potatoes and toss those in some olive oil, and then use the French onion soup mix. It's super simple. And then toss that in the potatoes, and then I throw that on the smoker and let those potatoes get soft, and that's another really good side.
When you're cooking on that smoker with stuff like that, Jonathan, what temperatures do you run normally?
So I'm usually kind of a hot and fast kind of a guy whenever I'm running any kinds of sides, or if I'm doing some of my desserts, or even with anything poultry. I'm usually in like the 300, 350 range. I'm moving pretty good with those.
Yeah, I don't blame you there. Oh, let's see here. Jeff says, no, let's see, we did that one already. Here's another one from Jeff. What is Pete's favorite side? What's your favorite side, Pete?
Actually, I like a good baked beans that's smoked, that's got meat in it, green pepper and onion.
Baked beans.
Baked beans with like a meat, either some kind of ground meat into it. Mm-hmm. Even you could put some sausage in it too, but I like that, kind of like that, and with green pepper, onion. That's it.
I don't know if it's traditional or not it was traditional when I was growing up because I liked them and my mother loved me the most. And Al Gratin potatoes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Mhm.
are you in that club, Jonathan? The Al Gratin potato club?
Yes, sir. I do like a good au gratin potato.
Yeah. Do you like to get them crusty on the bottom of
Yep.
the bottom of the glass? You got to cook them in glass too. You know,
Yep. That's
you got to
right.
cook them in that glass casserole dish. You got to scrape that bottom and then you
Mhm.
serve them. You flip that thing up. Oh man, that is. You know, for Thanksgiving I could have Al Gratin potatoes, mashed potatoes, one of those what's that, Mrs. something rolls. You know what I'm talking about? Those
The
Mrs.
Sister Schubert.
Yeah, Sister Schubert roll and a green bean casserole. I wouldn't even mess with the turkey.
Mhm.
I wouldn't even mess with the turkey.
Now, what about deviled eggs? Now, my wife makes
I was just
makes a
throwing that in
very
there.
good deviled egg. Yep.
Jeff says Al Gratin potatoes for me too. Yep. It's I think it's the most awesome side ever made. All right, what does I've got a friend that was talking on another show, and he was bemoaning, not bemoaning, but criticizing or how he did not like pumpkin pie.
Ah.
How can you not like pumpkin pie?
You get fed it your whole life, all the time.
Do you not like it, Pete?
When I was a kid, I ate so much pumpkin pie. It's kind of like raisins. I don't like raisins because I've ate so many of them. That's all we ever had. So no, but I like pecan pie and I like chocolate pie and I like, any other kind of pie, but pumpkin pie just is not for me.
And see, that's like me with deviled eggs.
Ah.
Just don't even pass them down my way. Jonathan, how are you on desserts?
So interesting that you bring up pumpkin pie. I actually did a pumpkin pie cobbler, and it turned out really, really good. It was basically you just take everything that you put into a pumpkin pie, and I like cooking in cast iron, and so I put it in a cast iron skillet, and then I made almost like a praline crust on the top, and then put that in the smoker, and it was really good. Now it was really sweet. But it was very, very good. Something kind of a little bit unusual. And then another dessert that I've done recently has been a white chocolate bread pudding with a white chocolate sauce. And now that was really a very good dessert. I'm not a big chocolate fan, but I'm okay with white chocolate. I know that's not truly chocolate, but I do like the white chocolate bread pudding is another really good dessert that turns out really well on a smoker.
Does chocolate give you a headache?
No, it's just I don't know. I never have developed a taste for it. If it's just something I never have really liked. Like I said, my favorite dessert's probably either that apple cobbler or banana pudding. Those are my favorites, but just not a big chocolate fan.
Chocolate gives me a headache sometimes.
Well, I'm not big on chocolate, but I'd eat one. But my very favorite when you want to talk about pies is I like a blackberry with the big old scoop of ice cream on it. And then if I can't get that, I'd like peach.
Mm-hmm.
So at Thanksgiving, if the pumpkin pie makes an appearance, you're just going to pass.
So fortunately,
have another bourbon and Coke.
Hey, fortunately, and Jonathan knows my son-in-law Trent, his Aunt T makes a pumpkin roll, and it's about that big
I've
around.
seen those,
and so she made one, and we had it at my son's yesterday. And I will tell you, it's the best I've ever put in my mouth in the world. It's got a cream cheese icing all the way through it. I want one. She's actually bringing one to my house for Thanksgiving. I'll save you a
Send me
piece
a
of
slice.
it. It's the best I've ever put in my mouth. And gosh, it's just amazing.
And Cool Whip, not on pumpkin pie. Cool Whip, not the miracle, not out of the can. You can't use that. You got to use a real Cool Whip. Mm-hmm. That's what really. And you know what? I won't get mad if you put a little bit of chocolate syrup on that Cool Whip. Just drizzle it on there. What that little let's see. That right there. Would you consider that's a dessert? Wouldn't you say, Jonathan?
Yes, sir. I think so.
Well, yeah, the little baked apples and the
Mm-hmm. Yep.
cinnamon and stuff like that. I think that's a dessert.
Oh man, I love some baked apple.
Yeah.
You made it into a pie. You made it into a pie, right? An apple pie, pretty much.
Yes, sir. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because you
All
put the flour in there with it, and
That's right.
All right. Let's move to the most important part of Thanksgiving, the day after.
Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite turkey dish Friday when you're watching football?
easy for me. My wife's dressing is fantastic, and she doesn't just do a dressing; she'll do chicken and dressing. So it's got chicken in it. It's a meal on its own. It's fantastic. It only makes it once or twice a year, and I love it.
Take it out of the refrigerator and nuke it.
Oh, and you don't have to, or you can eat it cold. It don't matter.
Cold.
It's good either way. I'm telling you, it's great.
Jonathan, what is your favorite after Thanksgiving?
It's going to be real traditional, but I like just getting a sandwich, and I'm going to go with you, Steve. The more salt, the better. And so I'll get me a cold turkey sandwich, and I'll douse it with salt between two pieces of bread, and I'll go to town. I really enjoy that.
For me, it's that big piece of white meat, and I gotta heat it up because I want it to be a little bit juicy. So I may throw it in I may wrap it in a wet paper towel and then nuke it, and get that Sister Schubert roll that's left over that's in the plastic bag on the counter, and don't even heat that mother up. Just open that thing up and put a couple of those, and I just slide a piece of cheese on there, and then I get one of those tiger tail horseradish mustards, and I use about half the bottle on that thing. And man, I love it. Brown mustard, cheese, and turkey on a Sister Schubert roll. That I could eat like 3 of those things. Just sit down there and just eat 3 of those mothers, and just, man, they are so good. That
sounds good.
That's the best part
of Thanksgiving.
Well, the leftovers you usually eat for several days, and I love that.
Okay, on your Sister Schubert rolls, Jonathan, gravy or not gravy?
I'm kind of I don't like a lot of condiments on my meats or anything, and same goes for my sides. So I'm a no gravy guy.
I like butter in it and then dip it in my gravy.
I love gravy. I just give me the whole. You guys down there have a boat. I got my own boat, and I'm putting gravy on. I'm putting gravy on everything on that table. I'm putting gravy on. Let's see. Brent Hilliard's joined us. Hey, Brent. Thumbs up for the Nana pudding. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yep. Jeff says turkey tetrazzini.
Okay.
I don't know what that is. And then Jeff also says, Jeff needs to quit drinking beers. Sandwich salted with Dukes and tomato. That's good.
Yep.
That's good. Yeah, that's real good.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot all about the tomato, Jeff. You're right. A tomato on a turkey sandwich is like a BTT, a bacon turkey, and lettuce sandwiches. They're just awesome as well too.
Mm-hmm.
I love them. Jonathan, anything else you want to bring up? Something different that you do, something that not many people do that might be able to benefit from tuning in tonight?
The only other thing that I can think of that I've done recently that was really good was beef ribs. That's something that we don't see a lot around here, but it's something that I really enjoy cooking. And the best way that I've found to prepare them is I like to go salt and pepper, do traditional Texas style. And I've got an Outlaw stick burner that I'll put that thing on, and it turns out really, really good. And so it's kind of a non-traditional, but we've done it before for Christmas. I've done beef ribs for Christmas. And so that's kind of a non-traditional holiday, meat that we've done a couple of years ago. And it's something definitely that you probably don't think about, and something that's a little bit hard to find in this area. But still, it turns out really nice for the holidays.
All right. When you do prime rib and you take the ribs off, mm-hmm. do you tie them back on and cook your prime rib with the ribs on, or do you separate them, cook the prime rib, and then cook the ribs by themselves?
So what I do is I'll separate them when it's raw. I'll separate them and then I'll put it back together and then I'll cook it. I'll smoke it that way. And then whenever I take the prime rib off the smoker, I'll separate them again. I'll rest the prime rib, and then the rib meat goes back on the smoker to get those things tender. And so it's kind of a 2-step process for me.
Last year, Pete and I did 50. We did 50 some prime ribs, and the most compliments we got wasn't on the prime rib; it was on the bones.
Yeah,
because we took the bones off and we cooked them separately. I cooked them on the Jambo that I had at the time, and people were dying for those things.
Yep.
We put them in the bag with the prime ribs, and that was like a surprise to them because they'd never had it like that. You know, they thought they just throw the ribs away. You know, there's not a lot of meat on them. You know, you got to have 4 or 5 to make a snack.
Yeah.
But oh, they loved them.
And well, they called and said, "Hey, it was great, but those ribs were over the top."
If you got any more ribs,
Yeah, they loved it.
Christy. Let's see. Christy Watley says the steaks on your page a couple weeks ago looked amazing. Open your own restaurant as soon as possible.
He could.
Yeah, I think she's
Get
talking
that in
about
your schedule.
no, I don't think it'll fit in my schedule, but I think she's talking about
what's your day job, Jonathan?
So I'm an infectious diseases pharmacist at the hospital. So a little bit of a non-traditional pharmacy job, but it keeps me busy. Several years ago during COVID, it was very busy. So we're glad to be through that. But it's a fun job. I really enjoy it. Every day is something new and something different. I get to teach a lot of great students and residents as well, and so that's a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it. So I've been blessed for sure.
Isn't that what Dustin Hoffman was in Outbreak? Wasn't he the infectious disease pharmacist? He saved the world.
Yeah.
See, guys like you, Jonathan, you're our last line of defense. When the bad monkeys come over, you're the guy that's going to get in the helicopter with Cuba Gooding Jr. and save us all.
Well, here's what's cool, and what I've always thought was cool about Jonathan is here's a guy's a pharmacist, you know, but he also has this hobby of cooking, and he gets out there, and everything he works on, everything he does, you can tell he takes a lot of pride in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, that's amazing to me, and that you're able to do that and have such a wonderful family too that you have, and you know. So you do a lot, and you do well.
Thank you very much. I'm a very blessed man for sure.
This is Summer McCoy says, "What got you into cooking?"
Yeah, so it's a funny story. So my I told you before, my grandmother, she got me into baking, but what actually got me into smoking was actually my father-in-law. And so we were looking for something to do together, and we found he had gotten a smoker for Christmas, and I went over to his house, and he had made a pork butt, and so I tried to pull pork, and I thought, wow, this is really good. Like, how did you do this? And he showed me what he did, and so ever since then it's been all downhill. We competed for quite some time, and then whenever COVID hit, we kind of got out of the competition scene. I started doing more of the social media stuff, and kind of just stuck with that. We've done a few competitions here and there, but mainly it's been cooking for the family, cooking for friends and stuff like that. I really enjoy that. Competition's gotten to the point of where that it just financially didn't make a lot of sense anymore, and so decided to kind of hang that up and then go into the cooking for friends and family, and I haven't looked back. It's been a lot of fun.
Jonathan, what is your handle on Instagram?
Yep. So it's Blowin' Smoke Barbecue is on Instagram, and then Blowin' Smoke Tony, Alabama on Facebook. So if you get a chance, stop by and check me out on those outlets. I'd really appreciate it.
How many followers do you have on Instagram?
So I've got 1,200. And so I'm stuck there at that spot. So if y'all can help me get over that hump, that'd be great.
Have you got a YouTube page?
No, my son's trying to get me into that, but I hadn't gotten into it yet. But maybe sometime in the future.
727, buddy. right here.
I
727.
hear you.
When we hit 1 million, the millionth person gets a car. Just remember that. When we hit 1 million, the million subscriber gets a car. Jonathan, thank you so much. You're fantastic. I knew you would be. And the pictures you sent were wonderful. And everybody that called, everybody that wrote in, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for listening. Billy, Jeff, Pimp My Grill, Eric out in California. Summer, thank you all so much for asking questions and engaging with Jonathan. This was a lot of fun. And let's do this again, Jonathan. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir. That'd be great.
All right. We'll see you later, man. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Pete, I want to remind everybody that we are open tomorrow and we are open Wednesday until 5:00. I'm going to try to be there until 5:00 tomorrow and Wednesday. I'm going to try. I got some help here at the house, and I'm going to try to be there for everybody so we can help everybody. We got a great selection of everything. Pete and I went down to Ackworth today and picked up 2 Southern Q
Limo Junior
XLs. If you're familiar with Southern Q smokers, this one's got an extra shelf, so you got 4 cooking shelves now. And we've got those in stock, $3,500 a piece. And as always, we have got all of your Green Mountain grills. That's what we will be pushing here in the next few weeks. We have been hot and heavy on the pit barrels the last few weeks, and we sold 3 of them on Saturday. And we appreciate everybody that came in and bought a pit barrel cooker. So if you're looking for a cooker for somebody for Christmas, Pete, the pit barrel cooker or the Green Mountain grill, that's what we've got. And you will be happy with either one.
Or Badger barrel.
I forgot the Badger barrel.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's an introductory level barrel, $249. We've got good prices on these. Won't break the bank prices.
I'm gonna tell you, Steve, you only got 2 PBXs left. Those things went off the shelf so fast Saturday. So
they're good. They're good. And if you've got somebody that's been on the fence and you want to push them into the barbecue side, the pit barrel cooker or the Badger barrel is exactly what you want.
You had a neighbor come in and buy one for a friend of his.
Yeah, but
he bought one for himself, a PBX, and came in and bought one. Said, "Hey, just got a guy that he's a friend of mine, always good." He said, "I just thought I'd buy him one. He liked mine." So he did.
Don't forget, follow Jonathan Edwards on Instagram and on Facebook. Show him some love and hit that follow button on him. And we will see you. I'll see you at the station tomorrow. We got to do runs. We're doing 2 prime ribs and a turkey tomorrow, so we'll be busy. And but this is my favorite time of year, Thanksgiving. I love it.
I agree.
All right, we'll see y'all later. Thank you for watching, Jonathan Edwards. Thank you so much,
Thank you, Jonathan,
for joining us.
Hey, we're in touch, so you be in touch. Follow us and watch us on Facebook, and also watch the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show on YouTube. And please follow us on Instagram for some great ideas, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more and more videos.